Alright, welcome back once again to Skywise Observations. The current time is 4:50 p.m. We have basically lost the presence of the greater light. We have gotten a little bit more overcast with our sky conditions. While sitting inside, I began to hear the rumblings of thunder. Looking back here in the western horizon, if we can get this to focus, might be able to see some swaying to the trees, the treetops thereof. So we have some winds that are generating their way towards this location. And not only that, when I first stepped out here, well, there's a lot of swaying just in that one location back here with these trees. But anyways, upon walking out onto the balcony, I was greeted by sporadic droplets of precipitation from the fallout from overhead and above. Yeah, just that one location, a lot of swing. Whoop, doggone it. Yeah, I now have 3 glass containers out here, if you've been following along, and as shown in previous content, I have 3 glass jars out here, waiting for, wow, they are really swaying. Waiting for precipitation in hopes of collecting some residual matter from the particulates in the air from the wildfires and the smoke that we have been having to endure and being subjected to. But hey, you know what? It's been providing some, as far as I'm concerned, some really good content. Well, my recordings might not be all that great, but yeah, see, we've now got some winds that are, well, it's hitting here. I'm starting to feel some coming across. So that could indicate precipitation actually moving in to this location. I'm not sure if that is something on the highway or small engine aircraft. Got quite a lot of background noise from these air conditioners that's running. Yeah, it seems to be getting brighter up here. But anyways, we are trying to keep this short in duration, right? But this is an update to our situations at large. Oh, now I'm getting hit by a nice, gentle, cool breeze. And I can only surmise that I go out and put food out for the animals, that it's going to all of a sudden start raining right soon thereafter. I can just feel it. But yes, these conditions have dramatically changed out here. I'm still seeing some of the smokiness out here. There's not a whole lot that's well, yeah, can't even focus, huh? Yeah, might not be real apparent, but And as I had stated in earlier content, even though we should get some precipitation, and it could knock down a lot of this stuff in the air, they're calling for possibilities of more smokiness to arrive tomorrow. So once again, I am only feeling very, very sporadic droplets upon my skin as I stand out here. But I think, well, my spidey senses are tingling, saying, "Yeah, Morgan, you're just going to visit the woods." And um, well, now that's gone. Had a little bit of a glow up overhead here that I wanted to capture, but stuff is beginning to move a little too quick. There's one right there. Oh yeah, we're getting a lot more clearness. Huh. I think this is within the proximity of the location of the sun. Okay, so some more colorations. And yeah, the colorations apparently is due to the smoke. In which the orange coloration is visible to the naked eye, but dimming the lighting with these recordings does help enhance the colorations. Possibly not the focusing though. But I'm going to leave off with this, and yeah, even though possibly against my better judgment, I'm headed out to the woods. There it is. There's the presence of the light. So I guess that's saying, okay, coast is clear for now. Go while the getting is good. But we got some orange colorations now, so as well as other possible neat nifty sights taking place here. So I guess we can procrastinate and postpone our woodland travels for just a few more moments. Because once again, yeah, these conditions are providing some neat opportunities. I imagine people have been posting all kinds of stuff on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, as well as on this platform. But now it seems like we're kind of going into whatever type of skies. So I'm ending this and doing what I feel must be done, and we'll continue later. Skyways out. Alright, so continuing on at ground level at 5:15 p.m. Still quite the overcast skies, of course. Including that of wildfire smoke. I'll fluctuate the lighting a little bit here. The brighter it gets, the more I drop down the lighting. at that setting for a moment. I have just come out of the woods. Everything is taken care of, so we are good with that. Yeah, we're having these fluctuations of the overhead material that allows the light to come through occasionally. But yeah, we still have, if it's apparent or not, quite a lot of smokiness out here. Again, I'm not sure how well the camera is picking up on that. Might be a little bit more apparent back here. Yeah, I think it's coming through a lot more back in here. But we do once again have some winds out here, gentle, but still coming through. So how much of a effect that will have on the smokiness out here, I don't know. Oh well, come on now. And like I said, occasionally the sun comes through. Once again, in lieu of trying with the attempts of keeping this short in duration, I believe we will go ahead and end off right here, and we'll provide yet another update as they should happen to come about with whatever should happen to come about. So, Skywise out for now. 6:30 p.m. Well, still no signs of any precipitation, but rather we do have an awful lot sunshine coming through. It still looks very hazy back in this direction. Awesome. Oh man, I'm gonna kick one of those right off the balcony. Yeah. And hey, we have a flyover that is taking place. And in a rather strange direction, I might add, for what we typically observe. So as far as I am concerned, yeah, this has been ongoing activity, even though we've had this Canadian wildfire smoke scenario. Has really been mucking up the skies, but as I've shown in the past, as well as a little bit of evidence from this go around, there's always that connections, or those connections of aircraft, wildfire smoke, high temperatures of heat, precipitation, And there's a few other factors, but you know, all in all, there's a pattern, or, well, so it seems, and I'm basing this on these current observations in connection with past observations that I've made, and possibly the strong similarities to what took place back in 2023. I don't know. I have not gone through my past content in order to make said comparisons and possible connections of this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, wow, this is whew, quite warm. Yes, air conditioners are still running in the background. Unfortunately, but we have more or less, well, we are back more or less to milky white blue skies. And yeah, whether or not we will get hit by any forms of fallout, aka precipitation or rain, well, yeah, I highly doubt it. I think that has already come and gone. But one can never tell. Yeah, I can still see quite a lot of the haziness back in front of this tree line back here. We are getting that. Anyways, this is our current update through the sky observation and weather observation at this given point in time. So we shall return at another given point in time and go from there. Skywise out. Welcome back to Skywise Observations, and well, I think well, we did have plans on closing out with this recording until about 9:15, right around within that 9 o'clock hour. All right, but huh. It seems as though, you know, the onset of wildfire smoke isn't enough to clutter up the skies. Yeah, I did not imagine that we would be having much of anything to see out here. But, wow. Okay. So, I guess this just plays along with what I was claiming earlier within today's earlier recordings. Yeah. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Yeah, let's go about 2.7% of our zooming capabilities and capacity, and drop that lighting all the way down. And yeah, we can see this lovely thing right here. And of course, the greater light back in here somewhere. You know, I have many opportunities to record the sunset as it comes down through the trees from down at ground level, but I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just not that artistically or creatively inclined or motivated. Yeah, for the most part, it's just within this small whoop, doggone it, section of sky that we get so many observations. Man, I think I almost broke a couple of jars that I have set down here for the purpose of, well, what was expected precipitation that I guess we're not going to receive. This is this is looking kind of neat and nifty. Yeah, I might should. Oh, okay. Um, remove these jars before we should happen to do any further recordings. But now we have some visible activity, live activity, taking place back here in our western horizon. Oh, doggone it. So because of this, oh, and I'm seeing evidence of another one back in here. But anyways, we are going to go ahead, go back to this. Well, once again, in all honesty, I was not expecting to see anything as to what we are seeing currently. And again, you know, wow, these Michigan skies, pure Michigan. Wow. No sooner than we get so-called clearings from the wildfire smoke, and what do we get? Yeah. Now who knows, once again, when I return back during that 9 o'clock hour time frame, um, we might have some colorations that will take place. That's pending on, well, I think a lot of this right here, as well as whether or not this type of activity has been taking place to the, well, I imagine to the west of us, as I think that is where our air current is stemming from. So yeah, oh yeah, gonna have issues with focusing. Come on, thank you. Out time. Oh, and this one is quite high with its altitude. Alright, we'll get away from that. And I do believe this is good enough, and I also believe that I am going to attempt to keep this as our conclusion until once again that 9 o'clock time frame comes around, and hopeful possible colorations that might come about. And who knows, we might have Slight example. Coloration back in here, I don't know. But I am seeing a little bit of formation. It's kind of been growing in size and apparently seemingly headed in this direction, and there might be more that's going on back in here, but yeah, I don't, focusing seems to be an issue. But anyways, this is where we shall leave off. And once again, returning at that 9 o'clock hour or thereabouts. Skywise out. Thanks for watching.